Hello again, race fans, and welcome to VR Stuntman's YouTube page. I'm VR Stuntman himself, and I'm bringing you round 4 of the GT300 League for November 2013. And this is at the Nürburgring GPD track, a fine track, but can cause yellow flags. This one, particularly with the run down to the very tight first corner. Anyway, we'll go through the grid, and we've got a bumper grid, so it might take a bit of time. This is a pole position for Slash. Well done, Slash. Knocking Scalebreaker off pole. In fact, that's the second time, I think, in succession that Scalebreaker's been knocked off pole. Maybe he's losing his edge, you know, getting a bit over the hill on that slippery slide down to mediocrity. Third on the grid is Jordan with an RX-7. Fourth, we have Stuntman in the second Garaya. Then Malada in an RX-7. Next up, Mr. Green qualified a fine 6th with the Subaru. New to the league, or very inexperienced, I think, with these cars. So it's an excellent job by him. Hope he has a good race. 7th on the grid is Dylan. Strong qualifying by Dylan. Then we have race 42, 8th and fastest of the Selekas. And 10 starting 9th. Then 10th on the grid, this is Rayman. 11th we have Slicker. 12th, welcome back to Scouser in the pretty little MRS. And then on the back row we have Hatcher. And finally, bringing up the rear in a 14 car field is Genobi. Right, and this is Genobi's view. Awful long way to the lights there. So what we'll do is we'll focus on Genobi using the traction of that 4-wheel drive Subaru, and it's a long run to the first corner, much longer even when you're starting in 14th place on the grid. And Genobi's past Hatcher and Slicker. He's got Scouser to his right, braking nice and late. Oh, that's someone flying down the outside. That'll be Slicker. But Genobi is going to pass another car here. Oh, up ahead, that's you see an RX-7 bashing a Celica out the way. I think that was Dylan passing N10. Oh, and Genobi taking advantage and also passing N10. So great start by Genobi. We're going to go on board with race 42 and just see what happened to him at the start. This is a bit nearer the front of the grid. Oh, boxed down a little bit, but still a good start, and he's got a run on Dylan, picking up the toe from Malada. Race 42, a little slow through the first turn where he got squeezed. That's then 10 on the outside. He's having a bit of rub, and that's damage to both those cars. And there's Dylan, well, pushing his way through, I think is fair to say. Meanwhile, up front, Slash has been demoted to 3rd. He's Scalebreaker took the lead off the start with the 4-wheel drive. And Jordan round the outside into turn 1, so it's Breaker from Jordan, from Slash, from Stuntman. Then it's Mr. Green, Malada and Dylan. So we're going to ride on board with race 42. A little bit of a gap ahead of us, but we're going to be nicely in the tow. 42 with a bit of front damage. Oh, up ahead we can see that Mr. Green and Malada side by side. Malada, whoa! And race 42 completely misses his braking point. Manages to resume without taking anyone out. Oh, and here comes Scouser. So race 42 with a lot of damage now. Meanwhile, we need to look at the leaders. They're all shuffling into the first corner, side by side. There's a battle on though between Dylan. It's Dylan and Mr. Green. 5th and 6th. Oh, a bit of contact there. No damage done, and Mr. Green back to 5th. The ladder's in that bunch. Here he is. We're on his roof cam. Oh, windscreen wiper going. Don't think it's going to rain, but maybe it's best to be on the safe side. Plunging down to the hairpin. Dylan sideways ahead of us. Behind us is Genobi. Oh, Mr. Green off the track. Mr. Green definitely struggling at the moment, and that's allowed the first 4 to get a good break away from this little group. This is the rear cam from Malada, where you can see behind him is Dylan. No, sorry, Genobi and N10. Go back to the front view because Dylan and Mr. Green are at it again, and Dylan round the outside at the chicane. And Mr. Green is back on the inside into Coca-Cola, so we're at the end of lap 2. And this is really quite a battle. We go to the outside view. You can see how close it is. 2 Subarus and 2 RX-7s, with N10 catching them up in his Celica. Now down to turn 1. Oh, and it's a big slide for Dylan, and he kept it lit up and lost the back and spun, and he's collected a lot of damage there, and he resumes down with down between Hatcher and Scouser. So Mr. Green with damage, N10 has damage from that, no damage to Genobi's car or Rayman's, and meanwhile, we've had a pit up. Race 42. Here he is. He had front and rear damage. He's way out of contention after pitting under greens. So he'll be hoping for a yellow flag. Otherwise, I don't suppose he'll get that much out of this race. Meanwhile, we'll look at the leaders, and they're still in the same formation they've been since lap 1. Breaker, Jordan, and Slash just edging away from Stuntman. Then in 5th place, here he is, Mr. Green. Here's the big battle, and N10 is up to 6th place, and Genobi up to 7th. Of course, that was helped by Dylan spinning his way out of this out of contention, and Genobi having a look on the inside. Meanwhile, Rayman is coming through. Malada is down to 9th, just ahead of Slicker, so we've got a battle here between the 6th to 10th, all in a bunch, with varying levels of damage. It's Genobi coming under pressure from Rayman, and Genobi running wide through the Mercedes arena, and he's had to take a very tight line, and Genobi plummets down the order because of that. They're all streaming past him into the hairpin. N10's having a go, but he's the first one who doesn't get past. Go on the rear camera of no, not N10. Sorry, Slicker was the one who didn't get past. This is N10, and he's starting to pull away from that group. This is Rayman's view. He'll be coming under pressure into the chicane from these two behind, and Genobi backs out of that one. You can always count on Genobi. If he's not properly alongside, he won't try and force the pass, but he is piling the pressure on Malada, and Slicker's in there too, and Hatcher not far behind this group. See how the leaders are going on. This is the rear view from Scalebreaker. He's got Jordan and Slash in close attendance. Stuntman just dropping further and further behind. Even with the slipstream, he can't quite hang on to onto that group. Meanwhile, is that Scouser in trouble? Scouser's in the pits. Oh, need to see what happened to him, so I'll just rewind. So this is Scouser's view as we come up to the final corner on lap 4. Ahead of us is Dylan. Oh my word! And Dylan slams into the pit wall. Scouser, well, had nowhere to go. Nothing he could do about that. The car in front of him just stopped instantly. A little bit of reversing, but I'm sure we can let Scouser off for that, because that wasn't his fault at all, and he was only about 2 car lengths away from the end, being past the end of the pit lane. So he's in the pits. Let's have a look at Dylan's car. And oh, that's crabbing. Can't quite see it from this angle, but it is absolutely knackered. So he's going to do a full lap with that before he can get to the pits. So race 42's gained a place. He's going to gain another place, but we're going to go on board with Scalebreaker, who is under big threat now from Jordan. I think this is the closest Jordan's been down the back straight through Hatzenbeck. And we go to the outside view. They're side by side into the Vidal chicane, and still side by side. Oh, great racing from these two. Oh, Slash trying to get involved and getting a bit ragged on the curbs. It's still Breaker though. He's managed to hold off Jordan, but it's very, very close for the lead now. Stuntman now properly out of the slipstream, then there's quite a gap to Mr. Green, N10, and Rayman up to 7th. And here's Jordan going round the outside through turn 1, so new race leader Jordan. Breaker down to 2nd, but Slash, the pole man, hanging on nicely in 3rd. Looks like it's going to be any one of those 3 to win. Here comes Scalebreaker, and they're side by side as they come down to the hairpin. These guys will be slowing each other up. They've got to be careful not to let Stuntman back onto the back of this queue. Meanwhile, we'll go to the rear camera of N10. He's ahead of this little group. This is Malada, who's up to 7th. Oh, great racing from Malada up to 7th. Let's see if we can work out how that happened. So he's gained 1 place. He's up to 8th into the Vidal chicane, and he's nicely placed in Rayman's slipstream, racing with damage after contact with Dylan. In fact, quite a few cars are racing with damage after contact with Dylan. And Malada makes a nice pass into turn 1, and he's got the racing line through the Mercedes arena, and he needed to make some passes, because he's in a battle for 3rd in the championship with Stuntman and N10. But we go back on board with the leaders. This is Breaker through bit curve and down the back straight. Oh, and behind him, we need to look at that. Slash passing Jordan. Great pass by Slash. And he's got a nice slipstream to close onto the boot lid of Scalebreaker for the lead. Oh, another moment coming out of the Vidal chicane for Slash. Do that too many times and one of them will just bite you. Meanwhile, this is Rayman drafting back past Malada. So this fight for 7th place rages. Malada gets a better exit out of Vidal, but here comes Genobi as well. Go on board with Genobi. So this is the other close fight. It's all strung out behind them. Hatcher is some way behind, then Race 42 who's pitted, then Scouser who's pitted, and Dylan also pitted with that humongous damage and is in Stonemar's place. But it's Breaker in the lead from Jordan and Slash, so this has been the default running order for most of this race. Oh, there's someone having a moment back there. it was Hatcher who's just been passed by, or was it Slicker who's just been passed, who's been caught by Hatcher? One or the other. Anyway, they're now battling for 10th and 11th for the final point. They're a long way behind Ginobili, Rayman and Malada. So back on Ginobili. No, let's go with Rayman because he's about to do this pass again on Malada. Malada defends the inside. Rayman on the outside into the chicane. Oh, and nice driving particularly by Malada. And now Ginobili is going to threaten Rayman. Oh, Rayman very deep, throwing it sideways into Coca-Cola. Gets a reasonable exit though, but not a normal style, but it works. Meanwhile, Jordan in the lead. So that's Jordan must have slipstream Breaker down into turn 1. We're now on lap 8 of 14. These three just keeping it, keeping Stuntman out of the slipstream. Through Kumo. Next corner will be Bit Curve, and Jordan needs to get a really good run through here, otherwise he's going to be very vulnerable on the run down to the Vidal chicane. Whoa, big moment in the background. Stuntman too wide out of Bit Curve and kicks up the dust and drops way off the back of this group. So it's going to be one of these three that wins the race, I think. And Jordan didn't get past into Vidal, but he's going to get past here. Passed by Scale Breaker. So, oh no, they're still side by. No, Breaker is through. Slash has got a good exit. And he's going to pick up a toe. Now riding down to the first corner. And it's still side by side, Scale Breaker and Jordan, but Breaker hangs on to the lead and Jordan still second. Further back, this is Mr. Green in 5th place, a bit of a lonely 5th place. N10 is 6th. Oh, and typical N10 sideways style. Malada is just edging away now from Ginobili and Rayman. This is Ginobili, who's up to 8th, Rayman 9th. And then this is Hatcher in 10th. With race 42 has caught this group. So race 42 up to 11th place. He's past Slicker. Here he is. Here he is. And now he's threatening Hatcher. So this is why you should never give up. Race 42 was absolutely stone last after being the first car to pit. Down to 14th place, miles behind 13th, but now he's 11th, and surely he's going to pass Hatcher before the end of the race here. Oh, he's going to do it here, is he? Side by side through the hairpin. But Hatcher hangs on, but he's going to be in the wrong place for the slipstream down to the Vidal chicane. Meanwhile, it's all cracking off for the lead. Breaker is down to 3rd. It's Jordan from Slash. We're now on lap 10. We're in the Mercedes arena. And these three are holding each other up a bit, and Stuntman is closing back in. And here comes Slash going for the pass into the hairpin. Jordan very, very sideways, and that's allowed. So no, Slash didn't quite make it. Great race end by these three. They've been nose to tail the whole way through. No damage, very little bumping. Just what we like to see here at VR Room. Considering the quality of the drivers, the field is very spread out. They were pretty close in qualifying, but Oh, side by side. Oh, 3 abreast now. A scale breaker passes both of the other 2. So Breaker, no, he doesn't quite manage it. Jordan hangs on in the lead. 10 laps done. Further back I can see Malada has started to catch N10, but we need to go back to the leaders. Sorry, I shouldn't have flicked away from them really, because look at this. Lap 11 and Jordan with Breaker and Slash side by side. And Slashed up to 2nd again. Oh, and Scouser's dropped to last place, so he must have had another moment somewhere further back. This is, no, not that one, I want to watch this one. Rayman and Genobi still fighting very hard for 8th place. And Genobi just ahead at the moment. Meanwhile, this is N10 leading Malada for 6th. And Malada's been catching N10. N10 drifting through the hairpin, and that's cost him a lot of time. Ran wide and sideways, but we need to focus on the leaders. So we're down to the Vito chicane again, and it's Slash now, just easing Jordan a bit wide there. And Slash takes the lead in the Garaya. Oh, there's a mistake there from Scalebreaker. He just kissed the gravel and lost some time, and that puts Jordan back to 2nd, and Stuntman's closing up again. He's almost close enough for the toe, but it's Slash leading. This is N10 and Malada. You can tell Malada, he's the one with the windscreen wiper on. Down into turn 1. Malada going for the outside. And the cutback. No, he got too much of the curbs there, and that unsettles the car, and you can't get the power down. Meanwhile, further back, Rayman and Genobi still at it, and it's Rayman up to 8th. This is an epic battle. It's difficult to know which battle to focus on. Oh, we've got problems. This is Stuntman with damage. We need to see what happened there. Sorry, I'll have to go back a whole lap to see what happened. So what I'll do is I'll ride on board with Slash. So this is the rear camera. Behind us, Jordan. Now Slash was the pole man, so can he make a break for it? This would be the time to try and do it, because the laps are running down. Oh, he's run a bit wide there. Oh, and off the track and spin. And he spins on back onto the track, pulls over to one side, but unfortunately that's the side Stuntman went on, and oh dear, and the 2 Garayas collide, and it's big damage for Slash. Stuntman lost a lot of time. I think that he would have had more damage, Stunt, if he hadn't hit the brakes before slamming into Slash. Meanwhile, this is Malada, and he's trying to catch N10, both taking slightly unconventional lines. Go to the roof cam, and Malada with the toe. He's not using the full toe there because he Slash's crippled car will go flying past that. N10 sideways. Oh, he's always sideways, but somehow manages to maintain momentum. By this stage, N10's rear tyres will be quite heavily worn, and now Malada is beautifully placed for a slipstream. We're now on lap 13 of 14, and it's going to be Malada moving up. Of course, this is for 5th place now because Slash is in the pits. Where is he? There he is, into the pits, and Slash plummeting down the order. So Stuntman picked up a lot of damage, but he has gained a place. This is the tail view from race 42, who is up to 10th ahead of Hatcher, and is also going to gain a place from Slash. So Slash exiting the pits there, and race 42 up to 9th, Hatcher up to 10th, and Slash down to 11th. So Slash is now going to have to warm his new tyres up, and that's going to slow him down for a lap or so, and that's going to mean he's probably not going to be able to pass Hatcher on this lap. He may do later. We need to look at the leaders though. Here we go. So out of the final corner, and it's Jordan leading with 1 lap to go. And look how close he's hugging that pit wall to make sure he's leaving no room. Breaker on the outside, Jordan on the inside into turn 1 for the last time. Oh, and Jordan just outbraked himself there. Here we go, this is the rear camera of Scalebreaker. Oh, look how much track they're using. They're both pushing really, really hard. The win is up for grabs. Stuntman is miles behind them. He lost an awful lot of time in that accident with Slash. But he's got a bit of a gap back to Mr. Green. Oh, a bit of a tap from Jordan. As we're coming up to Kumo, that's Kumo, we're just coming through. This is big curve. Now this is the critical corner. You really want a good run out of this one. And it's going to be the slipstream. So we're going to the outside view for this, because I think Jordan's going to be alongside in the braking area for the chicane. This is going to be the corner that decides it, this chicane. And they're side by side into it, and Breaker brakes very late, all over the curbs, and kind of blocks. Yeah, still blocking Jordan. Oh, Jordan going for it. Oh, there's a contact and a spin for Jordan. There he is, but fortunately he's got a lot of room before Stuntman comes through. So it's another win for Scalebreaker. Jordan gets 2nd, Stunt 3rd. This is Mr. Green 4th, and his rear camera shows there's no one behind him. 5th is Malada, who has hung on ahead of N10. Then Rayman and Genobi. This is their battle through the final corner, and it's going to be Rayman 7th, Genobi 8th. Two of the only cars not to sustain damage in this race. Those two and the 2 leaders. In fact, Jordan had damage at the end. So just 3 cars went through without damage. Breaker, Rayman and Genobi. Right, we'll have a quick look at the old live timings. See who got the fastest lap, and the fastest lap is down in the 131s, and it was Slash 31.2. Jordan also 31.2, Breaker 31.3. So in fact there's only 0.06 hundredths between the 3 of their fastest laps. That's how close it was. Stuntman in the 31s, then 32s. Fastest of the 32s was race 42, and he's come back to 9th. Right, well, I've been VR Stuntman. I hope you've enjoyed this race. It's certainly been a lively one. Lots and lots of incidents and accidents. I didn't catch all of them, but probably just as well. Otherwise, we'd have been here all night. So catch me next time, where we will be at Suzuka, which is a great racetrack, and there should be some good racing with a quality field like this.